So we have a poem by Emily Dickinson, which goes by its first line, "They shut me up in prose." It's number 445. And we're going to talk about it. I'm here with Laynie Browne. Hi, Laynie.
Hello.
And Kate Colby. Hi, Kate.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, it's great to have you here at the Writer's House. Kate, would you read the poem and then we'll talk about it?
They shut me up in prose, as when a little girl, they put me in the closet because they liked me still. Still, could them have peeped and seen my brain go round, they might as wise have lodged a bird for treason in the pound. Himself has but to will, and easy as a star, look down upon captivity and laugh, no more have I.
Wow, Laynie, the last two lines, I'm assuming she thought of us as saying captiviti to keep to the rhyme. Okay, so I'm going to go where you don't expect me to go at the beginning, which is Dickinson's capacity to create conceits that kind of reach dead end, and then she finds another conceit, and to use idioms in a weird way. I mean, just for starters, it looks like we've put a bird in the pound, which is an odd conception, right? So talk about the idiomatic and metaphorical language as being typically Dickinsonian here. She's all over the place.
The first thing that came to my mind when you said that is odd bird. In other words, the unusual, the peculiar. And what happens when you try to put someone or something in a place where they wouldn't belong, yet they can't even comprehend that they're being put in a place because they're contained within themselves, they're having their own interiority. A bird wouldn't know if you put it in a pound, right?
That's right.
It would be invisible.
So does a poet know when they're being imprisoned in prose?
Yes, well, in this poem, I think.
In this poem, Kate, Dickinson has a thing about prose, which creates a binarism that you, among others, don't particularly generally respect. But you kind of know what she means about prose being kind of a nasty place and poetry being preferred. Can you spell that out for us a little bit?
Well, I think she means prosaic, the everyday, the banal, the expected, the prescribed. So for her, poetry is everything that's opposed to those expected values in the world.
And Kate, these days when we understand that some person, particularly a child, was put in the closet, there's traumatic resonances there about identity, maybe even gender identity, but let's not read that into it. But being put in the closet, it's sort of horrible parental punishment. She's likening that kind of punishment to being shut up in prose. Can you help us with this?
Well,
it's bad.
The sense of being stifled and also punished to live in mediocrity and just normalcy. And I love that still, as though the parent is standing outside the closet door saying, "I still love you."
Oh, I love it. That's a generous reading, maybe ironically. Laynie, still. So, I mean, superficially, I see a jittery, eager, smart girl who wants to break out of constraints and has lots of crazy ideas about things that she could write. And they're trying to, say, "You're hyperactive. We need to we need to still you," which is when you tell a child who's very active to sit still, it doesn't work. I mean, that's a superficial reading. Can you go further than that with still?
Well, I think she's speaking about the way that women were infantilized and still are, in a lot of places in the world. So we can read as parental, but we can also read as what is a woman's role and who gets to decide. And so she made her own choice and wasn't really understood.
They, Kate, don't understand a lot. A lot they don't understand. One thing they don't understand is what's inside this little girl's mind. Second stanza. Can you help us with that?
Well, it's what's going on in there is akin to a bird flapping and flying and seeing the world from a great height. So she's opposing the capacity of a bird to, escape the confines of the world with her poetic powers.
Cliche for the poet child who wants to spread her wings and who wants to be free as a bird, right?
And a bird is incapable of treason. So she's being accused of something that isn't happening, but also flight, right? I think of flight. So the mind is a source of flight and travel and experimentation and innovation regardless of where she's confined physically.
So let's go to the third stanza, Laynie and then Kate. So now it's getting pretty deep or high or big. There's a perspective now that's up above. Something is looking down on something else. This really changes things. I mean, this is a classic Dickinsonian move here. So Laynie and then Kate, what's going on?
I think she's thinking about a divine presence or intent, looking at the situation and realizing that it's impossible to confine her intelligence, creativity.
And about this looking down, what do we do with that? Is there a typo here in the Poetry Foundation print
Is
we're
there?
using? Look down upon?
That looks like a typo.
Okay, so we'll just say that the Poetry Foundation messed up that word. So it's look down upon. She wouldn't spell that way.
Right.
Captivity with a capital C. So look down upon, Kate? I mean, there's something about condescension there, possibly.
Sure, there's some derision and devaluation of captivity and the world that we're all confined to in our prosaic daily lives.
And who's laughing at whom and why?
The poet is laughing at those who would try to captivate her in prose.
And she has
In
last
convention.
laugh, doesn't she? I guess. She really does. I mean, that's such a great way of thinking about this poem. Who gets the last laugh? Okay, but no more have I. That's a weird way to end a poem.
It is a weird way to end that poem. It makes me think about how nothing is everything, like limitless. Is it no more?
Can you paraphrase those last 4 words? I can't. No
I
more
could
what?
try.
No
Well,
more laughter?
Look down upon captivity and laugh. No more have I.
No more what?
It's not, we can speculate, right?
Yeah.
That's all, but that's obviously what we're supposed to be doing, right? Otherwise, if she wanted it to be concrete, she would have made it
Right.
concrete.
And she doesn't want to make it concrete,
Right.
Kate, because
Well, that would epitomize the entrapment.
yes.
But it's
Yes. Oh, pause on that. It's okay. Before you say anything else, pause on that. I mean, no more have I. So she's doing something exactly along the lines as she's saying is crucial to her as a value, positive value. The opposite of stillness, the opposite of prose, is a kind of crazy dynamism that's going to produce a line that they don't understand. And that is her way. I mean, this is true of the image of the brilliant 19th or early 20th century girl writer genius is like, they are going to keep me down with their plans for me, but I'm going to do weird stuff. I mean, this is sort of a really important revolutionary trope. So anyway, you were saying, Kate.
I was just going to say the tidy ending, the more expected ending would be no less have I than the bird laughed at this absurd captivity that I can so easily escape in my poetry and laugh at. So
that extinction, like self-extinction, like I'm done.
Yeah.
And you don't know what I mean. Final thoughts. This is a great poem, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm just thinking, what if there were more to the phrase that isn't there that we can imagine? So, no more have I to argue or beat against these walls or
Yeah.
listen to they.
Yeah.
This would be one unlikely way to look at it.
Yeah. Kate, final thoughts?
I just love I mean, this poem, she is so modern in the doubleness she uses so often in the meaning of the word still, meaning stillness and also yet, and the shutting up, the silencing and also, and closing.
Yeah. I guess my final thought is about they. It is really modern that a poet, even in a poem that got written and stuck in a drawer still, to start with they in media res and just to deal with a pronoun that's unidentifiable, a they, a kind of bad they, parental, societal, the man. I mean, this is a really, really radical thing. She's saying there's radical content and radical form here. It's amazing. Thank you both. This was a lot of fun.